Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Star Wars Out in the Dark. My name is Will. I'm the Ravnos Archon. I will be your storyteller this evening. And last we left off with this group, we opened on a group of Republic Venator class capital ships coming into orbit, fighters, Aether Sprites in particular, swooping down in the Oasis where the group had kind of found refuge, started to sink into the sand around them. Eedee, in his usual demeanor, sent one of the Aether Sprites after it landed into a nearby building, crashing and catching the Jedi off guard that was piloting it. He recognized the Shicho stance that they took in defense as being the first form, the simplest and the oldest form of the lightsaber styles. But Dr. Shakti and Flid kind of ran out. They reached out, trying to find out where Akila and the rest of the group were, and they sensed that they were still about half an hour away, and they could sense that their niece was anxious, scared, but also filled with adrenaline, and thinking of her father at the top of her thoughts. Flid reached down and scooped up the husk of a lightsaber after one of the Jedis had been thoroughly ashed by the Kyber crystal defense that this tribe seems to have in its possession. And in the distance, Dr. Shakti and Flid were the only ones that saw a pillar of white light shoot up into the sky and kind of cover the horizon in the direction of the Zatsek. Excuse me. One kind of knew what that meant, and the other was holding on to hope, kind of letting them know that they must have gotten off world in some way, shape, or form. And once the white streak dissipated, a fourth Venator ship could be seen coming into orbit, and little black dots kind of filling up the horizon. As the Oasis descended, they heard that the other Oases on the planet were also descending, and that this was apparently something that has been done whenever this planet is visited by hostiles. Garak, the elder of the village, explained that they will be doing a pilgrimage to the ancient temple and that they would be leading the group through the tunnels underneath the expanse of the wasteland above. And as they traveled, they could hear large metallic discs sealing off the tunnels that they were coming back from, and heard them filling with water, which proved that there was a kind of plumbing system in work here. Eedee recognized a drone kind of going through its business as being one of the caretakers of the tunnels, but he also realized that these tunnels had not been really used since the Great Sith War and the Golden Age of the Sith during the Freedom Night Uprising and such, which dates it back to about 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. Realizing that its binary was a bit older than it was used to, they reduced their communication to simple yes or no questions, but the little drone led them towards the temple, turning on the lights and making it much more comfortable for everyone moving forward. After a moment, for a long while, rather, the Vergethan set themselves up to go into a sleep cycle. They're talking about watches, and something strange happened to everyone as they were suddenly filled with memories that they did not dredge up themselves. And then they were all brought into one shared memory of them interacting with Eedee for the first time, having found him in the debris, having brought him into the original ship, the Neverwhere. And then they were asked if they wanted to change the course of the events having led from this one linchpin point that kind of set everything in motion. And after a moment of debating back and forth, Dr. Shakti manifested a new ability through the Force and discovered that there was something nefarious about this voice. That's when it revealed itself to be the shardling that had come loose from Eedee way back when, and how it was harboring nothing but hatred towards Eedee itself. And it left them with a very ominous, "I am coming." But after they fought him off, they realized that the damage, the kind of phasing of Eedee between the real world and the memory world, as it were, had become permanent in the body, and that it was excuse me, it was perfectly rectangular or square, like 90-degree angles. Um, and after their return, Garak came over and handed Eedee the stained glass box that is the Jedi holocron. Um, and once their sleep cycle ended, everyone moved forward towards the Jedi Temple. Again, another portion of this tunnel closing off and filling with water as well. And we left off with the group as a whole being the first to arrive at the Jedi Temple's large cavern, where they could see little flutes of light from above ground coming down, illuminating what looked to be an underground farm of some kind. Um, Portions were mapped out for each kind of crop, and the Vergethan, without missing a beat, came over and it was helping some of the drones to go through the process of picking and checking the food available. In the center of this domed cavern was an upside down ziggurat, which is the bottom half of the Jedi Temple. And we left off with Flid, Dr. Shakti, and Eedee because we were missing our infamous gunslinger. And today we have the infamous gunslinger and Eedee, and we are missing Dr. Shakti and Flid. But it's good to see you boys again.
Good to see you, man. Good to be back.
Yeah.
This can't end horribly.
Not at all. Not at all.
Ah,
Both of you are responsible aliens with no need to just kill everything in sight. Right?
no,
That's
no,
what it
not
is.
at all.
Yep.
My bullets have love.
Yeah.
You can just call us the cool Darth duo. Darth meaning awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
it's German.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like father or something.
Yeah, that's what it means. So the two of you are there. You see Dr. Shakti and Flid kind of move over and start helping the Vergethan with whatever they're doing. There is a hum coming from the ziggurat.
Well, first thing is I there's actually something I'd like to look at a little more.
Okay.
So I actually go over to Dr. Shakti. And like doctor, and I've at this point I'm just using my normal voice. I haven't even tried to hide it in this thing, but I noticed you grabbed that saber.
Flid got it for me.
I've never, yeah, I've never actually seen one up close. Do you mind if I look at it for a little bit and kind of get the lay of the land on that thing?
Wiper, no swiping.
She holds it out to you, but keeps it in her closed fist and just kind of like moves it around so you can see it from different angles.
I kind of reach my hand out and I grab it.
And she pulls it back from you.
Mm,
I don't think you're trained for this. This is
Yeah, I'm
dangerous
not.
weapon.
So is this. And I point down and I pat my gun and I'm like, but I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna put it in my eye or anything like that. Right when I first grab the hilt and look down at the barrel of it like a gun, that would be silly. Um, I'm intrigued by this. My sister's a Jedi. You gave me these new abilities, and I just want to. I love
I didn't
learning
give
about
you
weaponry.
I didn't give you anything. That's not what I was trying to do.
You may not have tried to do it, but you did it. Um,
She hooks the
I
lightsaber back up to her belt.
okay.
I think we'll talk about this later.
Okay. Okay.
It's just hooked to their belt.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll walk over to Silas.
And so it
I
starts.
already forgot how the voice goes. My apprentice.
Oh, we're doing. That's right. We're doing that. I like
We do not have to do this if you do not wish.
oh no. It's happening. But I want and I move away from her because we were like right next to her.
Yeah.
Oh no, I presumed they walked away.
Yeah.
And I'm just like the easiest way to know your enemy is to know the weapons they use.
I was going to suggest, instead of asking for it, think of it coming to you.
You mean like what you had me do with Flid, thinking about
Yes.
what Flid was thinking?
Imagine the weight of it and lift it using the force and bring it to yourself. The doctor is focused on the people of the land and Flid's conscience. They will not notice the weight lift off their belt.
I mean, I could go pickpocket it, but I mean, if that's this is, I'm guessing this is part of the thing. So
Part of the thing, yes.
so I'll look over Will and I'll close my eyes and start focusing on the saber, on the hilt.
Does Silas have altar?
Uh-oh.
He does not.
No, you just gave me sense.
You try to imagine what this thing must weigh like, what it's made out of, how it must be. It must not work because it's just burnt through. And there's a moment where Eedee can feel the slight ripples of the force kind of emanating out from Silas. Dr. Shakti has a moment where she kind of stops what she's doing and she looks back in your direction to see what you two are doing, and she just kind of sees you there staring at her, at them, and then they kind of tilt their head and then go back to doing what they're doing, but you notice that the lightsaber does not budge.
I see. In time. You should go pickpocket it then, because I feel as though while they are distracted, the ziggurat calls us.
So should we use their distract? Should I grab it and then we go see what's going on with the ziggurat?
I think it would be smart.
Okay, I'm gonna try it, Will.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna
go strike up a conversation with the doctor.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Doc. Oh God, hold on.
Yeah,
Take your
fine.
time while you figure it out.
Yeah.
So, Will, I'm gonna stealth my way. I'm gonna stealth my way over there, and I do have pickpocket at 6 die, so I will be pickpocketing.
I hope so. Alright, so let's have you roll your stealth first. Oh, and you have a stealthy specialty?
I have a stealthy specialty.
Jeez, it's almost like you were built for this.
What?
Hello, Doctor. How are you
Okay.
today? Wow, 1 away from a force point.
2 away.
Yeah.
I thought it was 30.
31. 31 higher.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And now go ahead and pickpocket.
Watch
20
now, I'm gonna botch it.
29 to stealth over. They do not pay any attention to you as Eedee comes up and starts striking a conversation with him.
And you know
Purely
what?
about the
I'm gonna use a character point.
purely on the architecture of the building.
Yep.
$20.
2 more. You go with 1, or you want to use another one?
You know what? I have a good amount of character points. Let me throw in another one there.
2 more. 26. See if Dr. Shakti notices. They're talking with Eedee. You can hear the architecture babble going on. Jesus Christ.
It is interesting that this. I do not believe in your training that you would have seen such structures as this, but I remember it being fairly common
I
when I was still a.
rolled a 6 on the wall die, but a 1 on everything else. So
Oh Jesus!
you you very easily kind of take advantage of them talking to Eedee and just very softly unclick the lightsaber from the belt. This is a weight that you've never had to deal with before, and it is remarkably light for what you would have imagined this thing to be.
All right. I look. I'm not gonna sit there and look at it standing behind her. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna put it away.
Good, smart move.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then I'll just start walking back, and then I'm gonna walk back.
Okay.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
So Eedee can see after a moment of talking and Dr. Shakti kind of getting as a little bit exasperated about your conversation as it's not pertaining to what they're doing. And then she kind of just, okay, Eedee, I think we can pick this up later.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna help these villagers.
I'm going to investigate the jams on the doors.
Okay.
Okay.
And the 2 of you separate. And Flid kind of looks at your direction.
Yes.
He just shakes his head. He goes back to picking what looks to be a vegetable.
I would like to know what that was.
How would you like to go about doing that?
I guess life sense? Would that do it?
Life sense would give you a rough idea of what he's feeling.
Okay. Then yeah.
You will need something like receptive telepathy.
I don't have that yet.
Oh.
As badly as I want it, I don't have it.
Let me see if there's any requirements for it. Do you have the character points to manifest powers on the fly?
I got 46 character points.
All right, but yes or no? You don't have to flex.
I have 48. You're not flexing.
Oh, Mister, thanks for helping me steal a lightsaber. Oh, you can call me Master next time.
Receptive telepathy requires life detection and life sense.
I got both of those.
You do.
Oh.
You do. Do you want to use 9 character points
9 character points?
9.
Oh, I actually can't do subtraction in my head.
You're a teacher.
How cute. Yeah, a theater teacher.
Theater.
Get it right.
Touche.
46 minus
You
9.
both said it at the same time.
Yeah.
He's a theater teacher, though.
Winchester Brothers, right here, bro.
That's right, bro.
37.
I'm Dean.
Oh, I can't wait for us to do our one-shot hunter game with Will.
I would love to do that.
Just let us know. Yeah, I've already subtracted the character points.
He really wants to know.
Yeah, sure.
Receptive telepathy?
Receptive telepathy. It is a sense-only power. You don't have... You take several turns to activate it.
I'm going to activate it.
Go ahead. Make your sense roll.
13 with a explosion.
Ooh, fancy. 13. So, the difficulty is very easy for friendly, non-resisting targets. And then a resisting target would make a perception or control roll to determine your difficulty. Modify per proximity and relationship. So very easy is anywhere from 1 to 4, 1 to 5. You are... He did say he was your friend.
We're best friends.
Yeah. There was a whole speech.
Close
There
friends.
was.
So would you say regular friends or close friends?
Close friends.
Close friends?
Yeah.
All right, so it only adds 2 to your difficulty. So we're looking at 7 max. So
Okay.
far. You're not touching him, but he is in line of sight. So that's 2 more. So you're looking at max of 9 difficulty. So you succeed.
Oh yeah.
You get to know.
What's that little boy thinking?
So, receptive telepathy says that a Jedi who makes his power roll can read the surface thoughts and emotions of the target. The Jedi hears what the target is thinking, but cannot probe for deeper information. If the sense roll doubles the difficulty number, which you almost did, the Jedi can sift through any memories up to 24 hours old.
What?
Yeah.
You're telling me that if I rolled a 14, I could just go through his brain up to 24 hours?
Yep.
Oh, that's this. Oh, I'm a monster.
A Jedi can read the minds of more than one person at a time, but each additional target requires a new receptive telepathy roll. This power may be used on creatures and other sentient species, although it cannot be used on droids.
Perfect. It's fine. I know how to probe the minds of droids.
Yeah, you do.
This is fine.
So, you reach out. Silas can feel the ripples of the Force just kind of gushing over him. And even Dr. Shakti kind of turns around and looks in your direction, as this is something that they've never felt coming from you. Flid is thinking about his kids, his wife, and there's a moment where he is kind of wondering what would have happened if they never came across you.
I walk up to him.
Okay.
Flid.
Yeah. Yes, Eedee.
Do you think if we never met that you would like droids? Ever?
He laughs and he's like, I don't know where this is coming from, but no, I don't think I would. I don't like droids as it is. I think you're not a droid to me. That's what I'm saying. That make sense?
It does.
You see him reach out and grab your hand. Kind of pats it with his other hand.
I wish I could feel that.
You're a good person, Eedee. Deep down inside, I know you're a good person.
And you're a good father, Flid. Even on the surface, I can see that. I'm going to go study doors.
Okay.
I will see you later.
He goes back down to his vegetable.
I'm gonna go get Silas.
The last lingering image as you drop the power is of the one kind of moment where the two of you were together and you actually bonded. Bespin.
Good moment.
And you hook back up with Silas.
Are you ready?
As ready as I'm ever gonna be.
Wonderful. Would I know how it's going to be like a gap in time for us to train with the holocron, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we can't do it now. Okay. Hopefully we survive. No matter what happens, this needs to be a ask questions defensively maneuver with the ziggurat.
Okay.
We do not know what's down there, but we can learn from all of it.
Understood.
Wonderful. Keep yourself alive. I cannot bring you back.
Right.
Hold your hand. Let's walk.
We're going to school. We're going to school. I start making my way.
Downtown, walking fast, faces past, and you're homebound.
We're off to see the ziggurat.
Yeah. And as you guys start making your way to the ziggurats, to the center of the domed cavern, you you see the little drone that you picked up kind of float ahead, start to interact with parts of the ziggurat.
Anything specific?
Just what looks to be a panel up in the distance, and after a moment, you feel the whole cavern kind of shake as piece by piece the top of this ziggurat starts to come down and form a stairway. And the drone kind of happily wobbles its way down to you. Woo!
Did I understand any of that?
No.
Are you leading us deeper? Yes or no?
Woo!
Okay. We will follow you.
And it dances around you, and then it kind of goes back up to the stairway.
Do you want to name it, Silas?
I I can't even, to be honest with you, I can't even think of that right now. This is all and I start looking around. I'm like, this is a lot.
I'm going to call him Charlie.
Okay. Sure. And I start walking with him, but I start like I take out the lightsaber now that we're out of the way, and I start looking at it, and I'm like, so this is what you guys use, huh?
It's a dangerous weapon.
Well, it's a dangerous weapon for dangerous people. And I'm looking around. I do not want to make the mistake of flipping on a switch to turn it on without. So I study it and look at it to see if I can figure out some of the mechanic of it and the triggers. I guess being around weapons and stuff like that. I'm trying to like compare it to my knowledge.
I get you.
With weaponry.
Let's
You
have
can
you
also explain it.
Well, not every lightsaber is the same. Let's have you make a technical roll.
Oh, that's not good. Okay.
Oh. A drawback to the good gunslinger.
Oh yeah. I press a
Someone
button
just
and it
killed
gives
themselves.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But mind you, I am not holding it with.
Right. Yeah, it's not like a
I know
hoagie sandwich.
I know how weapons work.
Yeah.
The deadly end is pointed away from people.
Yeah. There's a moment where you're kind of looking at it. You can see that there's no switches or dials that are above the body, the chassis of this thing, kind of like how blaster pistols would have a knob to set it from kill to stun, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
This one doesn't have any of that. There's grooves. There's kind of cut outlines of where you could imagine some of these knobs might exist, so that you would need to put your finger on it and kind of you're trying to imagine what kind of person excuse me, would not need an actual kind of knob, at least with something to grab onto. You can only imagine the physiology of this creature, but there is a rectangular indentation that the second you feel it, you can feel that it can be pushed down, and the second you push it down, you see the spark of the ignition, the kind of color of wash that's about to erupt out from the emitter plate, and then you hear a crack, and there's nothing but black smoke that comes out of the emitter plate.
Well, I guess it's not supposed to do that. I guess I got a lot to learn.
We will try to figure out how to fix it.
Little drone begins to scan the lightsaber.
Can you fix it, Charlie?
Whoop, whoop.
He cannot.
Do you know what's wrong with it, Charlie?
He finishes the scan, and then there's a whoop, and you see holographic image come up of it spread apart, its pieces kind of coming undone, and you can clearly see that the kyber crystal is cracked. It had been fried by the lightning, but trying to ignite it has pushed it beyond its limits.
Oh, okay, so it was damaged by the lightning. Oh.
Yeah.
Man, it's a shame we're not on a planet full of kyber crystals.
Yeah, it's a shame we're not on a planet full of people who have a symbiotic relationship to kyber crystals, and just so happens if we just happen to kill one of them, that you'd get a kyber crystal out of it.
Super shame.
So I put it away. Now I'm like, so is this? And I start pointing at the thing. I'm like, so is this how you open it here? Is this what, like, since he's got the model up?
Yep.
I have a better idea.
Charlie closes it, and then using its own logic board, it starts to kind of go through the motions of how it would open it if it could. Ooh. And it starts to show you a step-by-step of how it would separate it.
Oh,
I'm gonna try it.
I'm recording this. What?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like, this is the best time to learn. We're by ourselves.
Yeah.
So I can mess around with it. So.
Sure enough, the second it does its first step. You do it, and you hear that clicking noise of something kind of coming to rest with something else, and it just slides open, and you can see the two halves of this thing now. And it'll slowly walk you through what you need um, to do to open it and kind of get to the parts. And then as you go through all the steps, you do come to the cradle, and you can see what looks to be this blackened, just cracked, what is obsidian now, with the kyber crystal wood rest.
All right, I'm gonna take it out.
Okay.
And I'll just drop it. I mean, it's pointless now, right?
I mean, the second you pull it out of its cradle and you put it in your hand, you can hear, almost not sure if it's something that you're hearing like in space or something you're hearing in your mind, but you hear the sound of a child's laughter, and you can hear the sounds of someone explaining the difference between Xian and Gem. How one is focused on instant switches from defense to attack, while the other is focused on saber to saber contact.
So Sheehan and what?
And GM. DJ,
GM?
yeah, DJ EM.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I pocket the crystal then, and I'll put it back together.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, now I have a better idea of how this works. And I put it away again.
Yep.
I'm like, Charlie, after you.
And once you get up to the top of the stairs, and he leads you to what looks to be a very very sterile, almost metallic room that is in the shape of a pentagram. Sorry, 5 sides. There is a round central disc that looks to be of a different metal. And he kind of floats over to the center of it, and you can see the ring outline start to glow. And there's a hum. And you see him just kind of dip suddenly and then shoot up about a foot, and then he comes back to rest at his height.
Where's the disc?
Mickey Bear is correct. It is Gem So.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank you, Mickey Bear.
Yeah. I was wondering why that was part of the next sentence explaining what they are. Let's bold these. So. Oh, I know. You guys get on the disc. It starts to.
So it's big enough for us to get.
I want to understand the room again. We're in a pentagram.
Yeah.
Shaped room.
It's pentagonal. There's 5 sides. There is a circular platform in the center.
Okay.
And once Charlie has kind of floated over to it and activated it, you can see that it's lit up. The ring around it, the outline of it has lit up, and it started to hum like a lift.
It either is up or down. Let us find out.
Yeah, climb on it.
Charlie lets out a whoop, and it starts to lift up. It's slow. It's not a fast lift, and you can tell that it's probably using more energy than it's ever used in the last like 1,000, 2,000 years. But you go up, and as you're climbing, the ceiling opens up like a sphincter muscle, allows you into the next floor, and then you hear it close beneath you. And here, Charlie stops, and there's a moment where you hear it kind of humming. You can hear this chirping noise, and he suddenly collapses to the ground, but lights slowly start to come on in the room. It's like he's pushed himself too far to get the power back up and running. You feel the
How big?
hum
How
of
big
energy.
is he? Big, big? The drone or Charlie, or how big is he?
Charlie is, excuse me, he's about 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet in diameter.
Oh wow, so he's big. Yeah.
Yeah. He's maybe about 8 inches tall.
You killed him. You killed Charlie.
Anything. Can I? Would it? Can I try and like get him back up and running real quick?
Do you have any of the droid repair tools with you?
Uh, uh,
He is a droid repair tool.
I mean, besides that, I don't know what this body's outfitted with. I just know because I knowing me, I would have moved um stuff into leg compartments like I did with the old Eedee body,
Mhm.
so that I was always ready for repair.
Okay. Even the rod's in your favor.
Oh, jeez, even
A 4.
Oh,
Yeah. Which leg do you reach into? Left or right?
it'd be left because my lightsaber's on my right.
So,
Yeah.
for the first time, Silas sees what would be the side of the shin on the left leg open up, a la Robocop, and you just see a small kind of swivel arm come out, and you can see that it is a host of different tools, small tools. But you do have enough to try to get him back up and running if you would like to make a droid repair roll.
25.
25.
Got 7 dice.
Yeah. Uh, it is easy enough to fix him. It is just a short, and using the tools that you have at your disposal and some of the extra wiring that you can sacrifice or that you've taken off of the previous bodies that you kind of have in another storage unit.
Mhm.
You bring him back up and you see him kind of start to, his repulsor lift engine kicks in, it starts to pick him up, and then slowly you see the right eye blink into existence, and then the left eye blinks into existence. They go off for a second, and then both of them just kind of flare on. And he comes up to your eye level, and he just, woo!
We are family now, Charlie. As the Jedi, you live with us, okay?
It bounces up and down like a nod.
Wonderful. Also, just so we all know, I'm spelling Charlie CHRL-3.
the worst. I'm just kidding.
You kids
I
in
love
your
him.
TikTok language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my TikTok language.
And your hashtags.
Yeah.
But you see that as you've focused on getting Charlie back up and running, Silas has noticed that the room has come up to its full lit glory, and there are murals that ordain the walls here. 3 of them in particular that share borders, and you notice that they're not painted or etched. They're actual monitors. the walls themselves are monitors, and they're cycling through stories, muralized stories. Um, and at one point, you see the Jedi that you have the holocron of.
Ooh.
From the ceiling behind you, you see a dome, white dome, just kind of pop down, and two ocular cavities turn to look in your direction. And you just hear the garbled noise of what can only be uh, late 90s internet connection, a kind of
Mm-hmm.
56.6 modem sound, the garbled mess, which is binary that Eedee just can't understand. The dome retreats back into the ceiling, and then a maybe like 3 foot, 3.5 foot wide disc opens up, and you see an egg shaped thing dropped into the room, and it hovers just above the floor like it has a repulsor lift engine. And
You
then
say egg.
yeah, egg shaped. And you see slowly the outline of just these trenches that open up as excuse me, as first a right arm extends out from the body, then a left arm, and then a second right arm, and then a second left hand, and then you see four spider-like appendages come down so that it rests like legs, and the same domed head kind of pops up and forward out of the top of the egg shape. And the first of the Jedi Temple Guardians has been activated.
I like take a little bit of a step back, and I just kind of got my hands in the general area. I'm trying not to make it look obvious, and I'm just Eedee.
Do I know like what this is?
No. None of the history tomes that you have cycled through ever had a shape like this.
Charlie, do you know what this is?
Whoop,
Is it friendly?
whoop, whoop.
Can you talk to it?
You see it float forward,
Oh,
and it starts to whoop at it, and almost imperceptibly fast, you see one of its hands shoot out and just grab this disc, and then
I
another
shoot my
hand.
hand.
Okay,
we're
roll.
emotionally attached to a droid. What do you think was going to happen?
I don't know. You sent it in there.
I'm turning my
I
lightsaber
know.
on.
I blame him completely.
I also blame me completely. Lightsaber on. Droid gonna be saved. Dick out.
Oh, a lot. That's a long list.
Always.
I rolled low. I got a 26.
Yeah, you hit its arm, uh, and you see as Charlie kind of shakes in fear at being grabbed, the wrist kind of comes loose from where your shot hit, and then another one of its left hands now shoots up and grabs Charlie. Let's roll initiative.
Oh, I don't remember how to do that.
It is just dexterity,
Oh,
but there is an initiative button for you to roll.
Oh, there is an initial button.
roll the 10.
My thing is kind of delayed for some reason. I just clicked it.
Okay.
Let me click it again. Let's see. Oh wait, it was there. Never mind. I had the 21, the dexterity. I see it.
And for Eedee, 21. Silas, 23 for the droid. So, in Star Wars, we start at the lowest initiative, and anyone that wants to interrupt the action can jump in. So, the declaration of your action, Eedee. What would you like to do this round?
Use my lightsaber to cut the Guardian's hand.
Okay. What would Silas like to declare for the round?
So, do I see any type of face or anything on the egg, or is it just a solid egg with these appendages coming out?
Yeah, the top of it, the top part of the dome, all popped up and forward like a head. So there is a head to it.
All right. Since it has 8 legs, shooting out a leg isn't going to do much.
4 legs.
So, it has 4 legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to shoot. So if I want to shoot twice, how does that work? I have to take out.
So
it's -1 die, right?
It is -1 die to your first shot, -2 die to your second shot.
Okay. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to shoot 2 of its legs out.
Okay. It will interrupt Eedee's actions, so it's going to shift down to say 15. And you see it rush forward, and it's going to try to beat Eedee with Charlie.
Hey, Will, why you do that? I need to just run real quick. 2 seconds. So, okay.
My heart.
Yeah. Do you want to keep your action to attack it, or do you want to change your tactic to defend yourself?
I'm gonna go in with the with the chop and swap.
Okay. Then he definitely hits you, and you hear Charlie just crying out,
"My baby boy!"
Just woo! Then a hard crash. But it hits you, so soak 16 points of damage.
I don't remember how to do that.
It's just rolling your strength.
That's why I'm gonna die so fast.
8.
8. Okay.
Does my military grade body armor do anything?
Oh yeah. It should have a bonus to soaking.
So I add 2 dice?
It is a physical attack, so whatever the bonus is for your physical.
Oh, okay. So 26.
Okay, so it
Wow.
It hits you, and there is a tiny scratch on your droid body, but you can see that there's a huge dent that has been caved in on Charlie, where it impacted against your chassis.
Are you okay?
Whoop whoop.
Okay.
But then now it brings us to you, because it dropped itself down to 5 initiative. You go at 10.
So I roll the attack on my lightsaber.
Let me see. Yes.
20.
Okay. You're a brave man for not activating lightsaber combat.
I don't know how to do that.
So he's not a brave man.
Oh,
He's an educated man.
it's control and sense.
Yep.
I don't know what that would have done. I don't know. We'll find out next.
Okay. Well, if you want to know what it does,
Yeah, I do.
Keeping lightsaber combat as one of your up powers, so like focusing on it, what would be keeping concentration on it in D&D terms.
Mhm.
It allows you to add your sense dice to any attack and defense rolls with your lightsaber, and it lets you add or subtract your control dice from the damage a lightsaber does.
Can I do that?
I mean, next round, yeah, you can try.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will. Is that like a bonus action or is it a full action?
No. Each activating each of your lightsaber of your force skills is an action in and of itself. So it is a control and sense power.
Okay.
So it requires you to use up two of your actions, your free action and an extra action. So that means that one of them is going to be a -1 die to activate. The other one's going to be a -2 die to activate if you activate them in the same round. Or you could choose to activate one round and then activate the next one the second round.
So would it take two turns to just activate it purely?
Mhm.
Okay.
If you want to roll your full dice pool, it would take 2 turns to activate.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. But you hit, so roll your damage.
19.
19.
I see him just go. Boom.
It's
No.
green. It's a nice green.
You haven't found red yet. That's why.
Yeah. When we murder a bunch of more people for your kyber crystal, it's just gonna bleed into red.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But you see the hardened kind of woven pattern of what looks to be some kind of cortosis shell. Because as you cut its arm that was holding Charlie, you see your lightsaber flicker for a moment. Like it turns off and on, turns off. Then you just see it very slowly. The blade comes back up to its full length. But Charlie floats over behind you.
Hide until we are done.
And now, Silas, take your 2 shots.
All right. So the first one is at -1, right?
-1 die.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So 24 on the first shot
You hit.
and a 30 on the second shot.
You hit both times.
With 2 less die. With 2 less die.
So roll the damage on the first shot.
And it's the regular damage, right?
Yep.
Okay. So 13 damage on the first one.
The leg severs.
And 18 with a green on the second shot.
The second shot damages it, but it doesn't destroy the leg entirely. And you see the bottom of this egg, kind of the legs shoot out. It hovers for a moment, and then you see them redistributed to hold its weight. And the damaged one is now shifted over into the back behind it.
Okay.
The new round, it declares first because it is now the lowest initiative. Excuse me. It is going to claw at Eedee.
Okay.
With its 2 remaining hands. Eedee, what would you like to declare?
When Silas took the shot, was it any sparks or is this thing more like force activated?
There were no sparks.
Okay. I want to Hmm. I guess. I want to say affect mind. That'd be what, 3 whole turns
3
to try and
turns.
do that. Okay.
Also, you would
'Cause I just
know
don't-
that affect mind doesn't work on droids.
So it is a droid.
Mhm.
Oh
I think that's pretty clear.
no, that's why I asked about the sparks. I thought you said no. No, I thought you said no sparks. I thought it was like a force thing.
No, it is cortosis only affects lightsabers, and blasters use Tibanna gas to create the energy that they fire. They don't share the plasma
Okay.
properties of a lightsaber.
Okay, I'm just gonna turn it off then.
Your lightsaber?
No, the droid.
Oh, there you
Yeah, he
go.
just goes. Uh,
There you go. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Uh, does a 28 do it?
It does actually.
Okay.
The droid, you see its arms shoot up and out as they're about to attack you, and then it just collapses.
you might have wanted to do that before it came at you.
Going to be honest, I forgot I could do that. Charlie, where are you, friend?
He comes out. The 2 arms are still like grabbing onto him.
I would like to remove the arms.
Simple enough.
It is safe now.
Whoop whoop whoop.
It's not safe.
Or it was not, but now it is.
Whoop whoop whoop.
We didn't, my friend, we have no rule for 3.
And you see him hover over to the circular opening where the egg dropped out of.
I walk over and look up.
Woo! And you see him start to hover up into the next floor.
Oh, how do we get up there?
How do you get up there?
That's a good question.
What are the walls made out of? Are they stone or like magnetic?
There are 3 walls that are kind of angled in like a thrust stage, like the
Okay.
inverse of a thrust stage, rather. And those 3 have monitors, like floor to ceiling monitors that are going through the murals. The other walls are metallic. You can see little alcoves where the quote unquote torches are, but they're actually like light sconces that illuminate the room entirely.
And do they stretch all the way up to the roof and to the opening?
The walls, yeah, they go floor to ceiling. Ceiling itself is a little bit of a dome, very, very shallow dome. And off to the side, you can see the circular opening. You can see what looks to be another one that's currently closed. But the open one leads to the next floor.
Silas,
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea and you're going to hate it.
Well, okay.
I'm going to pick you up.
Can confirm. You're going to hate it.
Yes, I don't like this one bit. What are you thinking before you carry me?
I have magnetic feet.
Well, it's better than my idea. I was going to tell you to reactivate that droid while I was on top of it so it would take us up. But I like your idea better.
Wonderful.
Don't tell anybody about this. And I go like this. I put my gun away and I secure it.
I secure my lightsaber.
Yep. Are you princess carrying him? Are you fireman carrying him?
I'm thinking more like koala, so he's strapped around my neck, and then
God.
Piggyback ride.
strapped his legs around. Yeah, a reverse piggyback ride.
Oh my God.
Well, you want him facing you?
Yeah,
Yes,
because
that's what he's saying.
I'm walking
That's
up
what
the
he's saying.
wall.
Okay. Okay.
That's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
So,
That's what he's saying.
what's
Yeah.
what's that thing called where you put the babies in?
Like
Swaddles?
a baby Bjorn.
The baby Bjorn. So you're baby Bjorning him.
I'm baby.
That's what I am.
Yeah.
He's baby
Okay.
Bjorning me. Yeah. Look at how dark side we are.
Yep.
This is good.
Bjorning each other.
I feel like this is a lot harder for people who aren't actually droids.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we call Silas Carlos from now on?
Where's my sunglasses?
Yeah. Right. So you turn on your magnetic clamps and you start walking to the hole. It's not big enough to take both of you in there. Remember, it's only a 3.5 feet diameter. So what do you do when you get to the hole?
Can you climb in?
I'll try.
Simple climb roll under strength.
Yeah, it's not simple when I have 2 dice in strength.
Oh yeah,
Let's see how that
not
goes.
simple at all.
I'm gonna spend a character point.
Good call.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna spend 2 character points. Let's just do it that way.
Okay. Yeah, 14 total. With Eedee's help in getting the right angle together, you manage to kind of use him and the body, the chassis that he's kind of come over with, and you climb up into the next area. Once he's up, it's simple enough for Eedee to kind of crawl, turn on one off and one on, and kind of make his way into the hole. But you come up into the next floor. This one is massive. There's what looks to be tables, long tables with benches on either side of the table. It looks like a mess hall, like a very crude, very old-fashioned mess hall. And in the distance, you can see the kitchen to said mess hall. The lights start to turn on as well as they sense the presence of people here. And Charlie kind of hovers over to the kitchen.
I'll start walking.
I want to do like a quick like look around to see like if there's anything left behind that we may like be missing, like any like tablets, like documents, anything like that.
You search around and you notice that there's nothing electrical, nothing electronic. But you do see there's a couple of bodies here. They're skeletons, but they're here. And
Are they?
what?
Are they clothed?
Yeah, some of the clothing has survived still. And it looks like they're all apprentices. None of them have cloaks. They have the kind of simple robe, the tunic, the pants. But you notice that all the bodies that you find have backpacks.
Would like to open one of them.
You find what looks to be pen and paper, like some kind of writing utensil and some kind of paper with notes, drawings, crude drawings, stick figure drawings. But it is definitely the one that you find is notes on what's called the Makashi, which is the second form of lightsabers combat. It's a very defensive, one-on-one focused style. It's more graceful than all the other ones. There's copious notes and references to teachers that you don't recognize. And there's doodles on the margins of the note paper.
I just kind of want to record all of it.
Okay.
Just in case there's anything that I'm personally missing so that I can train in it.
Yeah. I mean, which form do you think Eedee would have gravitated towards?
I'm not super familiar with all the forms.
Okay.
So it's something I really gotta think about.
Okay. Because I think, given his original body, I think Chi-Cho would have been, or actually no, Soresu, because it's purely defensive and it's a conservation of movement. So being slowed down by the droid body, I think that would have been where you found your strength.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so the Makashi notes to you are really eye-opening. This is a form, excuse me, that most teachers might not have trained you in.
It was
Do
divine
I
to
see- I-
capture the emergence of blasters, apparently. I wikied it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, it's good to know.
So,
Because that's something you should teach me.
what were you gonna say?
No, like, so I'm walking towards the kitchen, so I don't realize he's doing this or anything like that. I'm just making my way. I don't notice any bodies on the way to the kitchen or any other weird things.
Once you get to the kitchen, that's when you see the bodies. You see
Um,
what looks to be a few bodies that look like they died mid cooking.
Interesting.
Like whatever happened here happened instantly.
I'm gonna look around there and look through them and see, kind of just look around and see if I can kind of piece together what may or may not have happened in here.
Okay. Give me an investigation roll.
Okay, I have that.
Ooh,
I got a 12.
12. Yeah, it is strange to you, because one of the bodies is still holding on to the cooking utensil. The other one looks like it was either putting something in or pulling something out of the oven that has since rotted away. If Eedee tells you about his bodies,
Well, I call it out and I
okay,
tell him I found some bodies in here. Something's off.
Oh, I brain like the stack of notes over
Yeah.
to Silas. I'm like, I found bodies as well. Also, read all of this in your free time. Learn.
did you
Okay.
take everyone's notes or just the one body's
Oh,
notes?
all of them. What?
Okay, yeah.
Me? Not taking all the notes?
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm ripping through backpacks.
So, in total, you have notes on Shicho, the first form, Akashi, the second form, Soresu, the third form, and there is some note taking about one of the masters having a very hard time convincing the other masters that he has come up with a fourth form. But everybody's kind of really happy with the three forms that have been developed so far for lightsaber combat.
So, Edie, it seems whatever happened here happened immediately. It was sudden. Look, and I point to the cooks and everything like that. How he had the utensil, and it looks like they were mid cooking.
And they're all just skeletons. do any of the bodies have? I mean, like not the bodies, the clothes. Do they have any markings on them, or is it just like there's no like vomit? Like this could have been like a mass poisoning, that kind of thing, or
No. Even the patch on all the bodies on the left shoulder, the left bicep, is unfamiliar to you in any of the records that you've ever looked at. It is two ignited lightsabers pointing up with a third lightsaber unignited pointing down in between the two of them. And there looks to be a closed set of wings that finishes off the kind of white shield look to the emblem. But it is something that has never passed your eyes.
Ollie, do you know what happened here?
Whoop whoop.
Interesting. I suggest we should continue, Silas.
Just be cautious.
Of course.
You make your way
Which way, Charlie?
out. He leads you out, and you make your way down to what looks to be a set of dormitories. Above you, there is some writing to denote what wing you're in. It is unfamiliar to you. Out of the 24 rooms, though, in the hallway, 3 of them have bodies inside. Excuse me. You notice that one of the bodies looks like it was mid exiting of the room. And this is the first body that you notice has something strange. It doesn't have a regular backpack like the others. This one is more metal than anything else. The straps are cushioned with extra padding. And you see what looks to be this coiled energy cord coming out of it and attached to what looks like a sword hilt.
Would I recognize that?
Yes,
That's like a training saber, isn't it?
that's the precursor to the lightsaber. That was back when they needed power packs to fuel the plasma.
Wow. Oh, this is a relic.
Yeah.
Does it have power?
You want to reach out and sense it with
Yeah.
your shard ability?
Yeah.
Roll.
You want droid or computer?
Computer.
30.
Oh, so close.
One away.
Yeah. There is a very small bit of power left in it. You don't know if it'll last an hour or a day. You don't have any reference for how much power this thing eats up.
Silas, do you see that backpack on that body?
Mm-hmm.
That is an ancient lightsaber.
I look at it and I'm just like, seems really bulky.
A tad. It has enough power to get you through a day, possibly. It holds enough weight in this galaxy to get you into a lot of doors.
So you want me to put it on?
Do you remember my feelings towards the uh, I already they're not called class ships. What are they called?
Senator?
The Venators. The Venators that arrived?
Mm-hmm.
Besides me being a wanted target for them, getting their hands on a relic of this type, along with the holocron that we possess, can get us right to Doumann Crouh.
I just lean down and I start taking the backpack off of the guy without saying a word.
Okay. Okay.
Relics of the past will be the answers to our future.
And I look at him and I go, at the skeleton, I'm just like, sorry.
I look through all the other bags for notes.
You notice there's some disparities as one of the bodies you find in this hallway doesn't share the same uh, symbol on its patch. You see this one has what looks to be a pair of boots facing forward and crossed blaster pistols in front of it. And what looks to be an old hyperspace buoy between the boots.
Smuggler?
I mean, this is you because you were you know the old stuff. I don't
Yeah,
think I'm
can I try and do a scholar check on that?
You can try, it's going to be really difficult. But you are also taking the guy's notes, so you could just look through that.
Yeah, both. I'll do both.
what notes he gave them to me.
You got.
Yeah.
We're going to share the lightsaber note.
What lightsaber notes?
Uh,
No, I'm just kidding.
I memorized them and I destroyed them.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
They're
matter.
all in here now.
Every time I look at them, I'm recording them, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I burnt them.
Well, he doesn't know I draw a phallic symbol on one of them, so
Yeah.
he looks at it.
Yeah. Just draw a knife on one of them.
Yeah.
Trying to go through the catalog of your memory banks, you find nothing where this image pops up. And going through the guy's notes, the student's notes, is at best a glimpse into a Malkavian's mind, because they are all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason to it. The only thing that you do kind of see repeated is Master Tipo. And it's always Master Tipo says this about lightsabers. Master Tipo, this is why Master Tipo doesn't use lightsabers, and just the excitement at being a non-Jedi amongst a group of Jedi. This person was really, really excited to be different.
I would very much like to read.
All the drawings are fantastic. Like, this person was an artist of some caliber, and all the drawings are of stick figures with no lightsabers. All the stick figures and all the forms really are focused on blasters.
It is Master Tipo similar to the notes? Is he mentioned in the notes on the fourth form?
No, no. Master Tebow is mentioned as far as being resistant to the form, as there's no need for more than the 3 lightsaber forms that they have.
But they are teaching this lesson on combat without the lightsaber.
Yeah, combat from a distance.
Yeah, I grabbed the notes. I and just hand them to Silas. It's like, this is going to benefit you so much more than it ever will me.
I excitedly put them away.
Yeah.
And I will be reading these in length and detail.
Who knew
And
being Sith had so much homework?
all right.
You're the worst teacher ever.
I
God,
feel like I just gave you so much.
so much work. I know. I got.
Hey.
I'm gonna be busy.
You're welcome.
There
It's
go
like I
all my
give homework on a
plans for
Friday.
Saturday.
Yeah. Right? Every Friday, bro, homework.
Worst.
Me as an actual teacher.
Yeah. Charlie takes you to another hallway that looks like another set of dormitories. This one, excuse me, looks like there's less dormitories. The writing here at least has what looks to be a 2/3, like at least markings for what looks to be a 2 or a 3. So you can imagine that this must be the hallway that you came from must be like first years or initiates, and this must be like second and third years, or somebody that's at least had some time here.
Is this Gryffindor? Is that where we're at now?
That's where you are. The walls shift. And in here you only find one body. And again, it is slumped over a desk where there are some notes being taken. The patch doesn't match any of the other 2 that you found already. Like, this is the 3rd patch that you found. And this has just an outline of a humanoid. And there are what look to be crossed swords behind it, crossed pole arms, and a single foiled chain weapon of some kind. But its notes are littered with what would be considered stances for martial arts. And there are notes referring to a Master Shimura, who is also against the 4th form.
Why do they gotta hate on my blaster form, bro?
That's not the 4th form.
Wasn't it against blasters?
No, the 3rd
Will said,
form.
didn't he?
The 3rd form is defense against blasters because it is all right. So this is my Google. So Resu is a adapted form of Shicho where they where they expanded on the idea of blaster defense.
Why are you laughing?
Because you just drank through my whole sentence.
My ear. I don't use my ears to drink.
All right, I
I'm
wasn't
looking at
sure.
you. I was making eye contact.
I wasn't sure if you were doing a funny or
Listen,
not.
no, listen. I'm always funny.
Yeah. It's those improv classes that he took with Q.
Like 6 years ago, before the world went to shit.
Yep.
Sorry, not I forgot. I didn't mean to cuss. So this
I think this was a knight.
and Will, how much? Because like I know that I've done a lot of research on Jedi. How much? Like, would I know? Would I understand what a knight is?
Yeah, you know that there's
Yeah.
apprentice, there's knights, and there's masters.
Okay. So he was more mid-level.
Yes.
These or do you Jedi typically have patches to differentiate your levels?
This is entirely new to me, which means this is extremely old.
Which means if it's extremely old to you, this is serious. Like this is really, really old.
How many forms am I aware of?
There are 6.
When was the fourth form confirmed?
The 4th form wasn't confirmed until maybe 3,000 years before the Battle of Yavin.
So what year would what would that be for me? Because if I say BBY, no one that simulator was BBY.
Yeah.
What would I call it?
You would use the defeat of the Sith Empire and
Okay.
the birth of the Republic.
Okay.
So it would be about 500 years after the birth of the Republic. The confirmation of the Republic, at least, as it stands now.
What year is it now?
Now it is, I believe, 68 years before the Battle of Yavin. Between 60 and 70.
So how many years is it for BOR? Birth of Republic.
Since the birth of the Republic, it would be about a little bit over 2,700 years.
So it's 2,700.
Yeah, about at least 2,000 years.
I did the math. Do you want to know how old this building is?
Sure.
So there are 6 different lightsabers combat forms. The paperwork that I have assigned you only speaks of 3 and the idea of a 4th form. The 4th form was, for all intents and purposes, canonized 500 years after the birth of the Republic. It is currently 2,700 years after the birth of the Republic.
My God.
We are in possession of relics that can get us anywhere on Coruscant. Whatever you find, take it.
We just have the little problem of the Republic being above ground right now.
This
And
is how we get out.
I look around, I guess, to see if there's anything else that might be worth it. I ripped the patch off of the guy's
Okay.
clothing. I'm like, anything we find, right?
The second you pull the patch off, you hear a voice. That is rude. I wouldn't do that to your dead body.
Do I just hear that, or does he hear that too?
No, both
I
of
look
you, both
around.
of you hear it. And slowly you see the outline of what looks to be a
I start putting it
humanoid.
back. I start putting it back slowly, like I'm looking around.
Yeah, you see in the corner of the room, you see the outline slowly of this blue shimmering body come into view of what looks to be same clothing, the same patch, but now you can actually see that it is a humanoid. It looks to be a Sarian of some kind. It doesn't have the fully pronounced cone head. It's a little bit smaller. It's probably a precursor or an offshoot of the race.
My apologies. Just it belongs in a museum,
Just saying,
and I just
you can take it. I'm just saying it is rude to just take. Especially after you apologize to the other brain.
He does have a point. You did apologize to the other man.
which other wait, what do you? Which other man did I apologize to?
The one you
took
stole the
backpack.
lightsaber from?
The
Oh,
backpack.
right, that's true. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm just doing what I'm told by my master, and
Hello.
I point to him,
I'm Eedee.
and since he said that, I pick up the patch again and I put
He kind of looks
and
at
I
you.
brush like I
Yeah.
brush the I brush the
Yeah. He looks
I
at
like fix
you.
it.
He looks at Eedee. I would normally say that it would be dangerous to follow him, whatever he teaches you, since he is fallen to the dark side. But it seems like your heart is dark as well. How far
I
you have fallen, crystalline friend. There was a time where I would have liked to have met you in your prime. Your people were always very interesting to me.
What is your name, friend?
Ikris. I was one of
said
Master
Ectris.
Iktris.
Okay.
I was one of Master Shimura's first pupils.
Um. Unfortunately, Ectris. The only reason for the darkness in my heart was your kind.
Oh, I am not Jedi.
Oh, my mistake. I don't mean to offend you.
It's okay. You are in a Jedi temple, but this, where you are and where we come from, are two very distinct and disparate places, my friend. That patch is just more than a denotion of where I was or where I was headed. We believed here, Master Ventrin believed that diversity would be in the best interest of the Jedi moving forward. Stagnation breeds compliance, and compliance breeds the dark side. Put it simply, Ventrin Flick was a good man. Hope that you take his teachings to heart. given that you have his holocron on you.
He has said a lot that we resonate with.
Although I was taught by Jedi, and Master Shimura was a Jedi himself, we're not Jedi in the term that you use. I prefer being referred to as a monk. Just as my friend in the other room with the blasters was trained by Jedi as well, but he did not take the knight name. He was referred to as a paladin.
Are you able to see anything outside of this temple, or are you stuck here?
If I push, I can, yes. I've not had
The
a
only
need.
reason, well, the only reason I say that is in the very brief time that I've known you or met you, you are far more, trying to think of the proper term here, but what the Jedi have become is not a reflection of what you're speaking of.
There are good Jedi. I can feel them out in the
My
cosmos.
sister's one of them.
Her and her master are above us now. They are
What do
good
you know
people.
of the Master?
Not a lot. I can sense that he is worried about her. He wants to reunite her with you. That he has taken great pains to correct several wrongs that have been done to her. Several of the students that he helped come up with.
And you see me shift, Eedee, when he says that, and I just go, suddenly he had a change of heart because my mother's not coming back because of him. That darkness in my heart that you speak of was all his doing.
You see him smile, and he steps over and sits on his bed, on what was his bed. That darkness is unfortunately misplaced. It was not him that took her from you. On the contrary, it was him that helped her deal with the loss of her family. It is their shared master that you should be blaming.
So I've been going after the wrong person my entire life.
Yeah, if you want to go after somebody, you would have to go after the council entirely. They're the ones that sent him to begin with.
I'm not above doing that. You can probably feel that since you know so much already. What's his master's name?
You see him look up. Ah, he is guarding that from me. He is loyal. I will give him that. Then you see him smile again. I would have liked to talk to him. But I am here for you, not for him. You have discovered something very powerful here. Very noteworthy. Very life-altering. Gets into the wrong hands.
What?
Information. The notes that you have taken.
Yes.
Must ask that they stay here.
You don't believe that these notes and this information, based on what my masters told me, the the development of the information and of the forms and the such has far exceeded what's in these notes.
There are 6 forms now.
So many forms. Do you know how
I am
many
new to this.
forms Master Shimura asked of us?
How many?
None. We were not bound by forms.
And why is that?
Because he believed that the purest form, purest act of a Jedi is not to react, but to proact, to act before the action is needed. To learn a form is to prepare for reaction. To master no form, to be in the moment, to be in the now as you should be, letting the force flow how it wants to flow. You listen. We'll tell you what you need to know. This is what Shimura taught.
I don't know how much you're aware of, but the only reason we are here is because there's an entire race of people that have run into hiding because of the armada that's above us. We are
Yes.
trying to help them get through.
Forgetting
Yes,
what
they
was,
are very kind.
what was done to them has been heartbreaking, to say the least.
I say that to let you know that we mean no disrespect in coming here, and what we've looked at. It's like I said, I'm new to this. I spent my whole life hunting, and I look up, but like basically like where he was saying, the people responsible for destroying my family. Now you're telling me I've been going after the wrong person this whole time. But what we're doing here is trying to do something to help I always say their name, Vergethen.
Forgetting.
Vergethen. They're terrified. They're scared of these people, of these Jedi. When we first arrived on here when we crash landed here, without any provocation or anything, they already feared us just because of what they felt. We're not dead, so we've helped them change that perspective a little bit until an entire fleet showed up above us.
The Republic and its followers now have intertwined themselves so deeply with who the Jedi have become that there is no separate entity. They are one and the same. They are not the monks and followers that you knew them as, and they are not the peacekeepers that I knew them as. They have become totalitarian in their own aspect.
But
We seek a way to fix this.
you say that, but your heart has a different wish. I would recommend that the two of you do not go further up temple. Do you address the darkness within? This is a dangerous path that you are going down. And although I believe that, yes, the Jedi have fallen far from where they once stood proudly, given time, everything will sort itself out.
And as he's speaking, I look at Eedee and I start taking the backpack off. And I just look at him and I go, I know what you say these relics will do, but there's something about Ictrix
Ictris.
that is making me understand a little more.
He gets up as you say that. Let me spend what little time I have left this gift. And as he steps towards the two of you, he says, please, if I may. He slowly brings up one hand up to Silas's face. He brings his other hand straight through the chassis to rest on Eedee's crystalline form. And as he touches the two of you, there's a moment where you feel the warmth of his living body. And there's a sudden wash of light that fills the room. And you can sense that this is a different time and place. He is showing you a projection of what it was to be in the temple while he was active. You can even see that as he starts to vanish, as his incorporeal body. All right, bye.
I don't know what just happened. Sorry, my connection. Sorry, my connection messed up.
I was like, okay, bye. I guess you're done.
Sorry. No, I could hear it. I heard everything. It's just
okay.
that the camera messed up.
Okay. You see that as his incorporeal form starts to fade away and fall to dust and kind of spread around the room, you hear the chair behind you shift. You can see his living body, his memory of himself, get up and rush out the door. And without even thinking about it, you're following him down the same way that you came up. He slides down the tube, he goes down the lift, goes out, and as he descends the stairways that was in this domed cavern, it is now out in the open. The ziggurat is a huge kind of chunky D8 of a building that is floating, sitting on top of what is a massive kyber crystal. And you can see little crystal clusters underneath that all resonate with the same light frequency. And they're all just humming and pulsing like a heartbeat, but they're keeping the temple afloat. And in the distance, you can see a class of about 10 squaring off against each other with the backpack lightsabers, just going through their forms. On one other side of the large plains, the grassy plains that are a far cry from what you landed or crash landed onto, you can see little drones, kind of like Charlie, that have targets on them that are just hovering around a group of about 8 different Jedi students. You can feel the force emanating off of them, but they're just shooting blasters. And you can see them. One student in particular is using 2 blasters and you see that as he shoots with one, he shoots the other, and he splits the beams with his second shot. And then you
That's what I need.
see Ictric rush over and join a group of about a dozen students, all going through what looks to be just martial arts katas, kind of to perfect their form, to kind of get muscle memory. And uh, you see this older, venerated kind of very wizened old humanoid step up to him. He's like, Since you are late, Ictric, let us see what you have learned." And the man grabs a kyber crystal out of a pocket, and you see him close his fist around it. And there's a strong pulse of force energy that comes out of him. And after a moment, the force in him manifests as a Psylocke-esque blade of psychic energy that emanates from his fist and the kyber crystal within. And as he throws a punch at Ictric, you see the outline of his fist and forearm begin to emanate a glow, and he blocks it with his fist, or with his forearm rather, and then he brings up his foot in a kind of counterattack kick. You can see that the foot, the ankle, the part of his shin are all glowing with that same glow. And his master bats it away with his own hand. And then you see a stray blaster bolt come flying over, and he steps forward to protect his master, and just with his open fist catches the bolt and diffuses the energy. You hear one of the other students, "Sorry! Got away from me!" And after a moment, you see him step back into line with the rest of his students, and slowly the vision fades and puts you back in the cold room that was Ictric's. Just hear a little bit of a voice as it trails off into the nothingness. That is what we had. I hope it can be something we can have again. And then you know for a fact, deep down inside of both of you, that he is gone for good.
Well, it looks like there's a place for me in this strange Jedi-esque world that you live in. I think we should get back to these folks, and I think we should probably leave some of this stuff here, like you said. At least for now. We know how to get back.
I really want to keep going.
What about Flid and the doctor?
if you want to, you can head back to them and I can scout out the rest.
No, I'm with you. If you go, I go. And I'll just start walking towards the next room.
Too.
You walk around the entire floor, and you don't find a way up. There's just more dormitories.
All right, so I
Charlie.
guess we we gotta go
Charlie.
back.
How do we get further?
You see it shows you a schematic of the temple, and it only has mapped out up to this floor.
But like the temple shows that there is more to it.
Yeah.
Can I try and sense it?
Sure. Make a sense roll.
Maybe it's like locked behind a gate, like a force door. I don't think I'm gonna sense anything. That's a 6.
Oh. Yeah, you don't sense anything strange. And as Silas feels Eedee pulling on the force and the ripples kind of wash over you, you suddenly, the both of you feel 3 ripples of the force wash over the two of you from above you. Silas recognizes his sister's force. Eedee recognizes Domann's. The third one you don't recognize. But it is calming. It is serene. And it is reassuring in the most friendly way possible.
I don't know what to do. Did you feel that?
Oh, I did. If we've figured out anything, it's that we have not found a way out of our underground tomb yet.
I think we need to go back and regroup.
I'm with you.
I'm gonna start making my way back.
Come on, Charlie. Let's go.
Ooh. And as you two descend back down into the domed cavern, you can see that there's a second and third group of Regethan that have arrived. There's the sound of music being played, the sound of laughter and storytelling. There is a bit of joy that has permeated the area. And in the middle of the cooking, you can see that Flid is kind of happily helping out. Dr. Shakti is with the healers, and you can see them kind of checking over the wounded or any of the people that might be in distress and whatnot. And as you come over and you regroup with the crew, there's the images that you've seen. There are the words that Itrick has said to you. And there is suddenly the reminder that your group is still above ground somewhere. but that will be a thing for another night. This is where we're going to leave tonight's episode. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. As always, please, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, go get yourself your vaccine. We are still not out of the woods yet. As always, if you or someone you know is suffering from mental illness, or if you're suffering from depression, if you're watching live in Twitch right now, I'm putting up some phone numbers that you can call and reach out to people, because mental health is a serious subject, and it should not be a taboo or something to kind of scoff at or brush under the carpet. If you're outside the United States, of course, there's also a link to help get you the resources you need in the areas that you are living in. As always, I will see you on Monday for our Vampire the Masquerade game. I will see you on Tuesday if you head over to McStabber Studios, as we're doing our Q&A for our Werewolf Phoenix's Call game, which was a lot of fun, and I did not know how much I would miss that group until I was no longer part of it, and it is going to be interesting to see what happens if we do a season 2. So, but if not, I will see you back here for Friday for our next episode, where we get to see just what of these words these characters took to heart. Good night. Be safe.